This is the LG 7000 BTU Portable Air Conditioner, and you know what? I've had this thing sitting in my place for a while now, so I think it's time for a quick review. It's not a huge machine, especially compared to some of those window units or bigger portable ACs, but it does stand out with its pretty clean all-white look and that minimal design. The front's flat, smooth, nothing complicated, just a simple control panel up top and a vent that kind of reminds me of a mini robot for whatever reason. There's a digital display that lights up in a soft blue tone, and the remote is the typical LG style. Nothing fancy, but works well. It's not ugly, but honestly, it's not the most stylish piece of furniture either. The tube sticking out the back isn't my favorite part. Let's be real. You definitely notice it in the room, especially if you're somebody who likes the space to be super tidy or minimalist. So, in my opinion, when you're living in a smaller apartment or maybe you're using the AC in your home office, looks and space start to matter more. That's where this unit is just okay. It's not going to blend into the background completely like a small fan would, but at least it's not huge and awkward. What's been more interesting for me though, and I want to share this for anyone who's never used a portable AC before, is my own confusion at first about how portable air conditioners handle water. Because to break it down as simple as possible, air conditioners all produce a bit of water. That's just condensation from pulling moisture out of the air. With window units, you'll see the water dripping outside. With central ACs, there's a pipe that drains. I legit stood there looking at this thing wondering, where does the water in a portable air conditioner go? How does it not flood my floor? So I looked it up, and what LG does with this model is pretty smart. Most of the water gets evaporated automatically, using the heat from the unit, and then sent out through the exhaust tube. So in most cases, you don't ever see puddles of water or anything scary. But there's a little drain spot in the back, nice and discreet, just in case there's extra moisture, like if it's really humid outside or you're running the dehumidifier mode all day. I've never had to drain mine yet, and that's a relief. It's not something you have to stress over with average use. Let's talk about the key features because I wish someone had told me this stuff up front. You get 3 modes: cooling, fan, and dry, which is basically dehumidifying. I move between fan and cool the most. If it's sticky and muggy inside, dry mode is seriously handy, especially during rainy spells or if you're living somewhere that's humid. The remote is included, which is great because I'm lazy and don't want to keep getting up just to adjust the fan speed or temperature. There are different fan speeds, but to be honest, I usually just keep it on low. Unless the weather gets wild and it's super hot. I don't love running it on high because of the noise. Let's be real here for a second about the whole quiet operation thing. I saw the product page say it's quiet, and I'd call it fairly true for low. On the low setting, it sounds kind of like background noise, the kind of soft hum you'd expect in a small office. Around 50 decibels, they say, which if you're new to decibel numbers, is about as loud as a normal conversation or a running refrigerator. But when I kick it up to high, it's a lot more noticeable, more of a whoosh, and I would never use that for a nap or a phone call. That said, low works for me unless it's a scorcher outside. At least the sound is not rattly or super harsh, just air moving fast. In terms of performance, here's how it works out in real life. This LG is listed as 7000 BTUs, which is perfect for spaces up to about 300 square feet. To give you a rough idea, think of a regular-sized living room, a big bedroom, or a home office. For me, my apartment is just around that size, a little rectangular room about 12 by 25 feet. The AC cooled it down from about 78 to 72 degrees in maybe 15 to 20 minutes when it was hot and muggy out. That's pretty fast for something this size, so props for efficiency. I totally recommend keeping your space the right size. If you try to cool a bigger area or an open concept living room and kitchen, you'll be disappointed. It's not meant for that. I know, some people are looking for smart home features. And I have to say, this model doesn't offer Wi-Fi or any mobile app control. That's not a deal breaker for me. But if you're expecting to turn it on with your phone before you get home, you won't find that here. The real remote works fine for old school convenience though. Moving the AC unit is both great and not so great. It's technically portable because it sits on caster wheels and you don't need tools to move it. But at almost 60 pounds, this is not something I'd want to lift upstairs alone or roll over a ton of carpet. It's top heavy too, so if you push too hard or rush, it could tip. Honestly, I just leave it in one spot unless I really need to shuffle things around for a deep clean or something. Installation was honestly straightforward. The window vent kit is included, and I just had to pop one end of the exhaust hose into the back of the AC and the other end out my window. The kit adjusts to fit wide or narrow windows, and you don't need to drill anything or get out power tools. I had it set up and cooling in maybe 10 or 15 minutes right out of the box. I love that the filter is washable and easy to pull out. Plus, there's a check filter light, so you don't forget to clean it, which I think is a thoughtful touch. This helps keep the air clean and the AC running efficiently. On days when the weather changes quickly, I really appreciate the 24-hour timer. For anybody who likes to schedule things or forgets to turn things off, you can set it to power on or off automatically. I've used this when I know I'll be out for a few hours or overnight. Not having to wake up sweating is a win. There's also an auto restart function for power outages, which is way more useful than you'd think if your area gets storms or blackouts. As soon as the power's back, the AC remembers your last settings and turns itself on. Nothing worse than coming home to a boiling hot apartment after a storm, right? Let's talk about dehumidifying. For anyone not familiar, the dehumidifier mode basically pulls moisture out of the air, making the room feel less sticky even if the temperature isn't that much lower. Where I live, that can almost feel better than just blasting the AC. I've found that on super muggy days, running the dry mode for a bit first makes cool mode feel way more effective. I'd recommend this for anyone in a humid area, or if you find your windows fog up a lot in summer. Now, from my experience, power use isn't bad at all. I checked my electric bill just to be sure and noticed a slight bump, but nothing crazy. It's rated at 970 watts, and that's pretty energy efficient for something that can actually cool a room. I run it only when I need it, and the eco mode helps too. For those wondering, it doesn't need special plugs. Just a regular home outlet is fine. A couple little annoyances. The included cable could be a tiny bit longer, so keep that in mind when placing it. Also, you obviously have that exhaust hose running to the window, and you can't skip it, or the heat just blows right back in the room. The kit keeps most bugs out, but I do check the window seal now and then to make sure nothing's creeping in. Honestly, after a while, you barely notice it. In conclusion, this LG 7000 BTU Portable Air Conditioner does what it promises. The cooling is reliable, the setup is quick, it's fairly quiet on low, and the extra dehumidifier mode is super handy. I'd recommend this for anybody in a studio apartment, bedroom, or even a larger living room. Just don't try to cool your whole apartment and expect ice-cold air everywhere. For everyday comfort, especially in places where you can't install a window unit. It's a real lifesaver. I do wish it was slightly better looking or that the tube could disappear, but it's a small price to pay for being comfortable in the summer. I don't mind the weight because I rarely move it, but if you have stairs or carpet everywhere, plan for a little muscle. The remote and digital controls are simple and easy to figure out, which is perfect for anyone, even if you've never used an air conditioner before. I will post full information about the LG 7000 BTU Portable Air Conditioner in the comment section. See you in the following videos.